Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. I was just trying to break a mental sweat. Welcome to Period 3, AP English's Reading Rainbow presentation of hope. Now, hope is a funny thing. Some authors think it's the greatest thing in the world, while others may think it doesn't exist. Today, we split into different groups to look at different themes involving hope. Two different groups chose the theme that once you choose hope, anything is possible, while another group says that in reality, hope is the worst of all evils because it prolongs man's torments, which is pretty dark if you ask me. Let's look at what these groups did.
Hope. Some say it's essential to happiness. We here at Reading Rainbow disagree. Hope crushes dreams. Those who hold out waiting for something better to come along will inevitably be disappointed. People should just accept how life is instead of longing and thus prolonging pain and suffering. Such is the theme in today's book, The Stranger by Albert Camus. Let's crack open a cold one with the boys. End this story, shall we?
First, Marcel hears that his mother has passed away. He goes to see her, however, is unaffected at the sight of her coffin. He refused to even look at her body because he had accepted that she had died, and everyone dies. He never had that much hope that she would live so long, so when she died, that hope was not crushed.
Next, hope is discussed in the scene where Salamano loses his dog.
My dog is lost, and the people at the pound said I can't do anything to get him back. That dog has been through so much with me. First, my wife died after I was happy being with her. I got the dog to replace her, but now he's gone too. I just don't know what I'm doing with my life.
The story becomes more tantalizing when our protagonist kills a man. Go. Essentially, the prosecution focuses on how Marcel is different than society's standards and is given maximum punishment, death by guillotine. After the trial, the protagonist develops some hope that he would have a chemical execution. He then reasons that death by guillotine is not that bad, as long as it happens on the first try, in order to avoid pain. He's also hopeful that he can maybe somehow appeal the decision, because then there's the chance that there's freedom. All these reasonings with himself prolong his suffering and prevent him to accept his situation, which is that he's going to die.
When the chaplain comes to visit Marcel before he is executed, all of the previous built-up hope he had for his life cause him to explode in a violent fit of rage. Only after, when he is able to give up on all hope and that he accepted that everyone dies, was he able to peacefully accept his punishment and die.
We hope we've shown you that hope is pointless. You can pick up The Stranger by Albert Camus at a Jason Pyrus near you.
Hey, didn't see you there. This scene is so significant because it reflects Red finally finding value in hope. Andy's always been one to believe in hope, while Red has had more of a difficult time with the concept. However, this scene exemplifies the true power of hope because even in the darkest situation, hope ultimately prevails.
I find I'm so excited that I can barely sit still or hold a thought in my head. I think it's the excitement only a free man can feel. A free man at a start of a long journey whose conclusion is uncertain. I hope I can make it across the border. I hope to see my friend and shake his hand. I hope the Pacific is as blue as it had been in my dreams. I hope.
Bonjour, oui oui, croissant. Andy has just returned from spending a long time in the hole, a place where 1 week feels like a year. However, he's surprisingly chipper following his time being tortured. His friends question his surprisingly calm attitude. He states that having that one moment of musical bliss kept him hopeful and helped him get through being in the hole.
That's the beauty of music. They can't get that from you. Haven't you ever felt that way about music?
Well, I played a mean harmonica as a younger man. Lost interest in it though. Didn't make much sense in here.
Here's where it makes the most sense. You need it so you don't forget.
Forget?
Forget that there are places in this world that aren't made out of stone. There's something inside that they can't get to, that they can't touch. That's yours.
What are you talking about?
Hope.
This scene epitomizes the theme. Once you choose hope, anything is possible. It is an example of hope being successful, of hope actually being powerful. The fact that Andy was able to escape, and especially so fast, proves that when people remain hopeful, positive outcomes that may seem impossible are achievable.
He must have said something.
No, sir, Warden. Not a word.
Lord, it's a miracle. Man vanished like a fart in the wind. Nothing left but some rocks and this cupcake on the wall. Let's ask her. Maybe she'll say something. One big damn conspiracy!
In 1996, Andy Dufresne escaped from Shawshank Prison. I remember thinking it would take a man 600 years to tunnel through a wall. Old Andy did it in less than 20.
Welcome to Reading Rainbow. Today's special is all about hope, and we're going to teach you how hope is really terrible. Okay, so in our first scene of the metamorphosis, Gregor is transformed into a cockroach overnight. Gregor's initial reaction is that he was dreaming. And his reaction is that he doesn't really want to deal with the situation right now, and he just decides to go back to bed. Instead of reacting in hysteria as many others in his position would do, he just sleeps it off. Gregor does not break out into worry and hope for a situation to change. He simply pushes the nonsense away and ignores his current problem. If Gregor would be actually concerned for his well-being and hopeful that his situation would change, Greg would simply have to endure more pain and suffering as he reflects on his current miserable situation. Let's check it out.
What happened to me? How about going back to sleep for a few minutes and forgetting all this nonsense?
How's it hanging? That was an awesome scene. Now let's look at another one. And we want to prove, in reality, hope is the worst of all evils, because it prolongs man's torments. Let me put this Weight Watchers down. The mother and Greet initially begin to argue over the change in diet made by Gregor. However, this quickly moves into the argument about Gregor's furniture. By giving up his furniture, Gregor gives up on his humanity, but the hope still barely holds when he wants one of his pictures kept up. This further prolongs his fate and induces more pain on his family. Let's go see the scene. Okay.
Let's move this desk. He's gonna need more crawling space. You, Gregor!
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Welcome back. That was an awesome scene. Now let's move on to our last. Gregor's death is caused by the loss of his faith in his humanity. His family stops taking care of him as they did before, and Gregor even becomes more isolated and would rather be by himself than with them. Before, Gregor's family had some sympathy for him, when they believed the bug was actually him, and they would care for him. This all changes right before his death. He remained in this state of empty and peaceful reflection until the tower clock struck 3 in the morning. He still saw that outside the window everything was beginning to grow light. Then, without his consent, his head sank down to the floor, and from his nostrils streamed the last weak breath. The loss of faith in his humanity by Greet is what really gets to him, therefore causing his death. Now that he is gone, it was like a burden was lifted. They can move on with their lives instead of worrying and caring for Gregor.
Parents, I need to talk to you. It has to go. That's the only answer. You just have to try to get rid of the idea that it's Gregor. Believing it for so long was the biggest problem.
They have stopped hoping, which has been very painful and disheartening. Obviously, in reality, hope is the worst of all evils because it prolongs man's torments.
Oh look, a balloon man. Let's go check it out, Eddie.
Hello, children. Look at my plethora of vivacious balloons.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't it splendid? Yeah! Woo! Don't we just love having fun on a cool spring day? The weather's so nice today.
Yeah.
It's awesome today.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Oh look, a puddle.
Oh my god. He's just like, oh, you're doing it! No! What a lovely day.
Wow, spring's my favorite season. I just got this jump rope. I can't wait to use it for the whole season.
Hey Betty, what's up? Just playing some hopscotch. Oh look, a balloon man. Let's go check it out.
Hey kids, look at my multiple latitude of vivacious and colorful balloons. Wow.
That's so cool.
I know, right?
Spring is so great. It's so beautiful out.
I feel like anything's possible in the spring air.
Oh yeah.
I find I'm so excited that I can barely sit still.
He must have said something.
No, sir, Warden. Not a word.
Lord, it's a miracle. Man vanished like a fart in the wind. Nothing left but some rocks and this cupcake on the wall. Let's ask her. Maybe she'll say something. One big damn